Jackson Radio Show.
What's up, everybody? Kevin Jackson here. It's the Kevin Jackson Show. You starting to feel better about things? What are things, Kevin? What things are you talking about? I'm talking about your life and all the things therein, the sub things of your life. Are you starting to look at the presidency of Donald Trump and understand that you can end the whisper campaign, that there are people daily coming over to your side, to your thinking? Don't misunderstand me for 1 second, America, people listening to the Kevin Jackson Show, kjradio.com. Don't misinterpret what I say. You haven't won them over. You can't stop this ocean liner on a dime. But let me tell you something. It's beginning its turn. It's had a year to start correcting its course. And no matter what the left tries to tell you, they try to tell you, oh, it's Barack Obama's economy. It's Barack Obama that did this or that. It's Barack Obama that set the tone. They are lying to you. And those lies are being discovered every single day, day in and day out, moment by moment. And the left are in a conniption. They don't know what to do. And let me tell you something, folks. The truth is coming at them from all fronts. I'm glad you're here. 844-551-8255 if you want to call. Carl, I know you're out there, brother. Listen to me when I tell you you're about to get a rude awakening in 2018. Like finding out your favorite bowler is on steroids and you're thinking to yourself, he's a bowler. What's he doing? Taking the juice, baby. What's he doing? You're about to get a rude awakening. But it's a good one. It's one you look forward to. You and many others, and Carl, you're not alone. Many people out there share your belief that nothing is going to happen to the left because it never does. Hillary Clinton's a crook. She's always been a crook. She's always going to be a crook, and there's nothing we can do about it. So what? She, took billions of dollars from Haiti and other countries around the world in the pretense of helping the poor. She didn't help them. She only tried to help herself. We'll be talking about Hillary later. Barack Obama spying on Donald Trump, telling people he's the one that's messing with the election, and knowing that it is a lie. Knowing it's a lie. He's going to be uncovered. All these crooked people in the FBI. We're supposed to depend on our clandestine agencies, our Bureau of Investigation, if you will. Yeah, I could probably do better than that. But you know what I mean? These law enforcement agencies, we're supposed to depend on them. And we can't depend on them. That's being uncovered. By name, by person. And this week, you are going to discover things, and just as it drips and drips and drips. And here's the beauty of it. We've known this. We may not have known the names. We didn't know it was Rosenstein or McCabe or Strzok, whatever they call it. How do you even spell this guy's name? We didn't know it. We didn't know Lisa Page and Strzok were having an affair, sending text messages every 4 minutes on taxpayer dime. We didn't know any of these things. But now we know. They've come to the light of day. And many, many more things are going to come out. They're going to leak out, and it's going to validate you. It's going to make you feel better about who you are. So I ask you again, are you starting to feel better? And by the way, forget all that. What about your prospects for a job? What about your prospects of a new position within your existing company, a better job, more money? Are you one of the people that got bonuses? I got a friend. He got a bonus. This is a guy, drives a hoopty, goes to work every day, drove me to the airport, in fact, and I mean, that car was just, it was rattling. I just didn't want to leave my car at the airport for 3 days because it would have cost me another $50-$60. So he says, I'll take you, man. And that car was just, it really made me appreciate my car, which isn't very, that new. But I'm telling you, it's not a rattle thing. That car was going down the freeway, and I was going, Lord, just get us. Lord, get us there. Lord, get us there. I'm just telling you, folks, that guy he works for American Airlines. He got a $1,000 bonus. And he says to me, well, Kev, it was $667, $600-something after they took out the taxes for this, that, and the other. So it's kind of funny that most of it went back into the government. I said it didn't go back into the government. Some of it did, no doubt. Got to pay your taxes, broski. But I said, Some of it went into your tax, what you're going to get back on your income taxes, right? Yeah, okay. But here's the bigger deal, man. Because of Donald Trump, and by the way, he's a big-time Trump supporter, you netted $667 that you didn't have. And oh, by the way, that I know you need. That's what he did. And let me tell you, many people around the country have gotten this extra bonus, anywhere from $1,000 to $3,000, and whatever the net is. And whatever that net is, I guarantee you, people that live at the level of that my friend lives, paycheck to paycheck, they know if they got an extra $20. It's not the $40 that Barack Obama gave them. It's the extra $1,000, $500, $700, $1,500, whatever it was, and they're feeling it. Candace Owens, a friend of mine, she said she's got a half sister, and she says her half sister got $1,000 bonus, and Candace says her sister went, "This is money from Trump? Holy cow!" And it flipped her. It's flipping people around the country. And let me tell you, what Donald Trump did in Davos, you want to talk about flipping people? He flipped off the left. Both fingers. Boom. Because he went there. I don't know if you saw the speech. Donald Trump went there and he blew these people away. He blew America away. And let me tell you something. All these leftists, they're going to give him a rude awakening when he goes to Davos. People are talking about walking out. They're going to be booing him. You don't boo the biggest economy on the planet and a guy who knows how to run it. That should have told you everything you needed to know about those clowns. They're going to boo Donald Trump. Nothing could have been further from the truth. And when we come back, I'm going to play this. We'll do it this hour for sure. I don't know if we'll do it next segment, but we'll do it this hour. You got to see. I mean, if you haven't seen the speech, see the speech. I watched the speech. I happened to be in St. Louis. I had to do an event, 2 events, in fact. The movie, and we're going to be talking about the movie a little bit more here later, Bleeding Blue. You can go to bleedingbluemovie.com, and you have 2 ways you can support this film. You can donate through a charitable trust that we have set up for it, which through my charitable trust, or if you're just going to, give $20, $30 or something like that, you can just donate regular. So that should be set up on the website. Go see the website. We've got 2 trailers up, a description of the movie, the IMDb, a lot of other stuff. But I was there for that, and a speech for the Education Policy Conference. Back in a bit.
This is the Kevin Jackson Radio Show.
Do you owe back taxes to the IRS or state? The secret to avoiding the IRS nightmare is to seek professional representation. My friends at Security Tax Associates provide the most cost-effective and ethical representation in the industry while helping to avoid seizures, levies, and wage garnishments. Security Tax Associates is here to ensure that the appropriate steps are taken to permanently eliminate any possibility of future tax burdens once and for all. For a free, no-obligation consultation, contact Security Tax Associates, 844-779-4177. That's 844-779-4177. 844-779-4177. Or visit them at securitytaxassociates.com.
Beth Cook Moranville, author of Closer Than Your Breath, a book of hope.
Hope, that wonderful, wonderful 4-letter word that you may feel completely out of. I wrote this book to give you great hope. It's not too late. If fetal position is an all too familiar place for you, I understand. If the next 60 seconds are too long, this book is for you. Wherever you are right now, whether you're dealing with divorce or death or sickness, take hope. You are going to make it through this pain. Don't roll your eyes. I've walked this road and I know it. The best is yet to come.
Closer Than Your Breath, a book of hope from author and speaker Beth Cook Moranville, can be found on Amazon.com or Kindle.com. For more information, visit closerthanyourBreath.com or on Facebook at Closer Than Your Breath.
This is the Kevin Jackson Radio Show.
Welcome back, everybody. Kevin Jackson here. I will tell you, I love getting out and about. I love it. I love getting out amongst the public. I was at an event, education policy conference. It was in St. Louis at the Hilton Frontenac Hotel. And here's the thing. I'm going to give you some observations about this. And we got a lot to talk about today, folks. We got the mayors ditching the meeting with President Trump. I will promise you those mayors will be begging for meetings with President Trump. We've got President Trump in Davos. We've got all kinds of breaking news on what's been going on with his FBI text and what's going to come out. This is a week that's going to start breaking the backs of some of the people in D.C. I'm excited. I'm excited about it because not from an ideological point of view of conservatism. I'm not excited about it for that. I'm excited about it because the truth is going to come out, and it's going to force those on the left, the ideologues who hate this man for no reason, who hate you and me for no reason, who hate the military, hate capitalism, hate all the things that we stand for. It's going to force them to have for that come to Jesus moment. And I know they don't believe in Jesus, but Jesus is about to come into their lives. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to get preachy, but they're about to meet Jesus. And they're going to find some religion. And it ain't going to be Islam. I'm just saying. They're going to get some serious religion about who they believe in, these gods that they've chosen. The God of Barack Obama, the God of Hillary Clinton, the God of leftism. The gods that these sacred cows, the FBI, how dare they impugn the FBI, the reputation of that organization? Oh, the organization that supposedly lost 50,000 texts that we now have found. And now we're getting into the nitty gritty. That one? Yeah. Anyway, I love getting out amongst the folks. A couple of observations. One, EPC, I said this to you, you're too white. There was no other black person at that event. And they said to me, Kevin, we've got outreach. I go, I don't care about outreach. You got to go out and meet with people and talk to them and say, listen, come. Black people care about education. And they want to know that these white folks care about the education of everybody. Particularly, they care about the education of young blacks. Get them to this conference. And one guy who works for a clandestine agency in the government, he says to me, Kevin, why don't you bring some? Which we were having a good time with each other. And I said, oh, yeah, you had to go there. See, the expectation is I'm out there circling among the blacks to bring it. It's not going to happen. It isn't that I'm anti, black and doing it. It's not my conference. I'm there to speak at the conference and explain to you what's happening in the black community in terms of education. That's just something you live every single day, And for the record, I'm the one out there convincing blacks, forget what these leftists are telling you. You've got more to your life than what they're trying to sell you. Anyway, I'm glad you guys came out to hear me talk. Jesse Waters was the big deal. And I got to tell you, I know there's a lot of Jesse Waters fans. And one of my staffers wants to marry the guy. But Jesse, I'm going to tell you, a lot of these guys just have a little too much ego for me. Little too much ego. Here's the deal. If I were as popular as O'Reilly on Fox News, there's not going to be a single change in me. Nothing. I look at how some of these people behave towards the public, and it could just be a personality thing. But it's almost like, be glad I'm here. And I'm going, you know what? That's not me. So, I've been in multiple situations with Jesse. Nice guy. They're a very nice guy. We have very different styles. And my impression is that Jesse feels like the public should be adoring him. And I don't like that. And I could be wrong. So I want to be clear. This isn't a slam. It's just that when I watch Jesse interact, and by the way, this is not just limited to him, I get the feeling like, that they believe that the crowd is always going to be there. And I'm telling you, they're not. They're not always just going to be there. But he certainly did a good job. They had a private event that I attended with him, and then he gave his public speech. I didn't stay to see his speech, but I'm sure it was great. I'm sure people had a good time. But I like being around those folks, showing that it doesn't matter if I'm on Fox TV, which I certainly don't have a role as high as what Waters has. But I'm just part of the crowd. You know what I mean? I'm one of you guys representing you, and it's never about me. And I can tell you that the people that were at that event would verify that. So glad to get out talking about the continued whisper campaign of Donald Trump. And I said to these folks, when do you stop? When do you grow up? When do you finally say, you know what? You no longer need to whisper. Donald Trump has represented you, and he's represented you well. In fact, he's represented you so well. Heritage said he had a better year one than Ronald Reagan. I joked with a lady named Margaret, and I said, because she's a huge Reagan fan, and so am I. And I said, you know what? You can't compare Ronald Reagan with Donald Trump's first year. You just can't. And she just kind of shrieked up and started laughing, saying, you know what? You're right, you know. And it was so cute to watch her because, you know, we're both huge Reagan fans, but you got to admit, this is one of these instances where if you had said to me, Donald Trump's going to may be better than Reagan as a president, I would have been like, man, you must want to fight, you know? And I'm sure there are many others out there like me. Now, I'm going to tell you, I'm convinced in only a year that Donald Trump will undoubtedly be a more effective president than Ronald Reagan. Now, here's where Trump is going to struggle a bit. He's not as charismatic as Ronald Reagan. But let me say this, because we're going to get into this next segment. In Davos, the guy, he certainly, he didn't, I don't think he can achieve what Reagan did in terms of being a statesman. Reagan was just a natural. But in Davos, Donald Trump made believers out of a lot of people. And here's where I want to go. Before we go into that, I want to explain to you what you're going to hear. Trump did exactly what I said that he was going to do. Eventually, you're going to have so many believers that to be against Trump, people are going to look at you and go, shut up. You must be crazy. Black folks are going to say to you, if you're anti-Trump, there's going to be a big number that are going to say to you, man, I'm for Trump. Shut up. In fact, one of the stories a guy told, he says, I do this for fun. He says, there were 3 black guys standing out, and it was in D.C. He was going to dinner, and he walked up, and he's a big, thick white guy and, you know, can handle himself. And he says, he walked up to him, he says, hey, guys. No, I think there were 4 of them. It was either 3 or 4. And he says, hey, guys, anybody here vote for Trump? And 2 of them went, yeah, I did. 2 of them. So it was either 2 out of 3 or 2 out of 4. Now, I made a prediction, and it blew everybody away. I said Donald Trump will win 25 to 30% of the black vote in the year 2020. And people were like, are you, Kevin, from your lips to God's ears? I said, let me tell you something. God just whispered back down to me to tell you, you listen to Kevin. Don't worry. And they started laughing because a lady was like, oh, I just can't believe it. Donald Trump's going to carry more of the black vote than at any point in history or modern history. And it's going to seal the fate of the left. Now, there are many things we have work to do. Most of it has to do with redistricting, and I'll get into that in another section, another time completely, because it deserves more time. Anyway, when we come back, Davos.
This is the Kevin Jackson Radio Show. This is the Kevin Jackson Radio Show.
There were so many people here who disliked President Trump, and yet, as one journalist tweeted out, boy, they all acted like they were at a Britney Spears concert and taking pictures like crazy, Fred. They were just dying to see this guy.
So 2 things. I was there. I was in the line trying to get in. These are the people, I'd say 99% of them would have voted for Hillary Clinton had they had a vote. They're international. And they were fighting to get in the room, fighting to get the seats. It was a full house on Friday at the World Economic Forum. That's not usually the case. Then it was a hot room when you sat down, ready to bite, ready to boo, ready to hate what he said. And President Trump pulled off something I didn't actually know was in his repertoire, which is he calmed the room with his speech. And it was just an amazing performance. Trump certainly graded himself well enough that a very high-level person in the World Economic Forum expects he may come back next year.
Kevin Jackson, who you're listening to, kjradio.com. They're talking about President Trump's trip to Davos, Switzerland. I watched the full speech. I will tell you, certainly wasn't Reagan-esque in terms of its the speech quality, and Trump's no Reagan in that respect, but Trump's 10 times the Reagan with results. And boy, let me tell you, those words don't flow over my lips very easily, because Ronald Reagan to me was a god. And many of you listening out there, same thing. So you can imagine what it means for me to say this. And I've told you guys, I'm going to rub it in the faces of the left, the anti-Trumpers, the never-Trumpers. Donald Trump is a freaking genius economically. Some might even say from a marketing perspective, the dude is a genius, knocking it out of the park. There was I won't even tell you who said this, but he says, I think I'm a natural born leader. I know how to bow down to authority if it's authority that I respect. I've said the same thing. I said, I am a leader. You will not find a stronger leader, somebody willing to get in the line of fire on your behalf. But if there's somebody that can do it better, I'm cool with being a good follower. The person that said that earlier quote was Tupac Shakur, the rapper, the dead rapper. And he I don't care what you think about rap music or his life. What he said sums up many great leaders. I'm a great leader. But to be that, I have to understand how to be a great follower. And I will follow greatness. That is why I come on this radio show, The Kevin Jackson Show, and I talk to you about a man that is absolutely exhibiting leadership. And this is what bothers the left. They've never seen it. They've seen nothing like it. They detest Ronald Reagan because he exuded leadership. What the left want is they want a guy that looks like he's a leader, somebody that can be pushed around, that they can build the deep state. And for those of you who don't understand what the deep state is, let me tell you what it is. The deep state are the unelected people running this government. Trump shut down one of those organizations just not too long ago. I can't remember what it is, like the consumer protection thing. That was a person who had more power than the president and had wasn't accountable to the people at all. There are many such organizations within the government, and you can bet Donald Trump will get to them. And I've told you guys, there are many deep state operatives that remain in the Trump administration, some of them close to the president. I don't know why he's keeping them that close. Maybe it's the old axiom, keep your friends close and your enemies closer. But there are some that are in his cabinet level positions. And I'll get into that. We said this earlier when I talked about one of them that happens to be McMaster's, or I think his name is McMaster's, and people were like, Kevin, what are you doing tagging a great general? Let me tell you something. He is a deep state operative. Why Donald Trump keeps him that close, I can only imagine, is because he's smart enough to know he's a deep state operative, and he's starting to, he wants to be able to out these people at some point. So he lets McMaster's do his thing. McMaster's can build his reputation in that way, but trust me when I tell you, I know this from inside sources, that McMaster's is part of the problem in D.C. What Trump's going to do with him, I don't know. But here's what I want to go back to. I want to go back to Davos. When you hear that guy talk about Donald Trump, you can tell. By the way, that was on CNBC. That wasn't Fox News. You didn't recognize the voices. That wasn't Fox News. The guy says this: 99% of the people that were in that audience would have voted probably for Hillary Clinton. Yet, these people were fighting to get in. And let me tell you what the media said on our end when Donald Trump was going. They were like, surprised that he's going. Why? Because he's going to get a terrible reception. These people are going to boo. They're going to walk out. They're going to want to destroy Donald Trump. And Trump's like, I'll go. No problem. Let's see. Let's see how this plays out. Now, I'm going to give you some inside baseball here that isn't really from the inside, but it's something you should empirically understand. You're bringing the number one economy to Davos, Switzerland, to a guy who's a turnaround artist. He's a rock star. They recognize it. And the leftist media wants you to believe he's going to be disrespected. An economy that is a quarter of the world economy at this point and growing. A quarter of the world economy. Okay? So Donald Trump's going to go over there with a quarter of the world economy and it's growing. And the left wants you to believe they're going to be disrespectful. Every country represented at this Davos event is a country that does business with the United States or wants to do business with the United States. And they're watching a leader like Donald Trump accomplish rock star type status with everything that he's done in this economy. And they want you to believe he's going to go over there and they're going to get booed. He's going to be booed. They're going to be disrespected. Now, when they say, this guy says, they were fighting to get in. He says it was a full house in Davos, which, by the way, he said, is not usually the case. Does anybody remember the last official thing that Barack Obama did overseas? And they literally, I'm looking at the room and they've got chairs, 2 rows of chairs. There couldn't have been 8 people in that room. Barack Obama finishes his speech and people weren't even paying attention. Somebody finally just kind of went, and a couple more spatterings of applause. Nobody got up to meet him or whatever. He walked out. He could have, for all intents and purposes, been the janitor. You don't have to believe me. Go Google that. You'll see that forum. Nobody cared. It was like, who cares what he has to say? He's useless. They were fighting to get in. It was a full house, which this man says is not usually the case. And you want to know why? Because whoever else was going to speak didn't matter. Didn't matter if Russia spoke. Didn't matter if China spoke. They didn't care. Then he claims they were ready to bite. They were ready to boo. They were ready to hate. Because that's what he'd been told. That's what everybody was supposed to be. These people hate Donald Trump. They don't want him in there. And then what does he say? Donald Trump gives an amazing performance. And what exactly was that amazing performance? Donald Trump went out there and he said exactly what he said on the campaign trail. I'm going to make America great again by putting America first. And when he went to Poland, he says, we're going to make America great again, and you can do the same thing with Poland. And as I explained to a group of people at this event that I attended over the weekend, Donald Trump doesn't see the pie as finite. He doesn't see it as a 2-foot round pie. He sees it as a pie that can be 3-foot round if he continues his policies. If you follow the policies of the left, the pie will be 3-foot round, 4-foot round. And we can all grow together. You don't have to live in squalor in Bangladesh or in some godforsaken crap hole in Africa. You can build an economy that people want to create products. Entrepreneurs create these products, and people will, trade begins between your country, and it's not just based on opium or heroin or whatever it takes to make all that crap. You can actually export your goods and services, and you'll build a middle class that wants the products of other people. I want you to imagine, one of these African countries that has a GDP that's less than, Nancy Pelosi's Botox bill, and suddenly this country begins to create a product, a crop, or something that's unique to them. Maybe tourism is part of it. Who knows? But they start doing something productive. That country's going to want things from us, possibly clothing, electronics, or who knows, cars, airplanes. Everybody begins to succeed worldwide. That is a possibility. Countries that are third world armpits don't have to remain that way. That's what Trump is saying. If you follow the guidelines and the principles of the United States, you can grow your economy, and we want to help you to grow it and become a part of it, and we want to become trading partners. So this guy that I played that first clip of, he says Trump gave an amazing performance. I'm telling you, folks, these are CNBC people. These are not people who are dyed in the wool pro-Trump. And the moderators go, she's like, can you believe this? People were saying he was going to be booed, he was going to be, ridiculed in the United States, this, that, and the other. And then they go, oh, no, as it turns out, they love him. We got to take a short break. We'll be back with more of this. Keep it here.
Kevin Jackson on the Black Sphere Radio Network.
Do you owe back taxes to the IRS or state? The secret to avoiding the IRS nightmare is to seek professional representation. My friends at Security Tax Associates provide the most cost-effective and ethical representation in the industry while helping to avoid seizures, levies, and wage garnishments. Security Tax Associates is here to ensure that the appropriate steps are taken to permanently eliminate any possibility of future tax burdens once and for all. For a free, no-obligation consultation, contact Security Tax Associates, 844-779-4177. That's 844-779-4177. 844-779-4177. Or visit them at securitytaxassociates.com.
Putting an end to identity politics. This is the Kevin Jackson Radio Show.
Tony, you agree, disagree?
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised. Actually, it was great having the whole delegation here in the United States. I mean, there's no question that the Donald Trump that they generally see here on their television screens is a much more combative, loud Trump, and he was more reserved, and he also had a good story to tell about the United States. There was a question of what his audience was for the speech. It wasn't necessarily the people in the room. I had people here. The talk around Davos was really, it's a 2:00 time slot. It's the worst
on
time
Friday.
slot on a Friday, but really it's the best time slot if you're in the United States. It led the news today back. Everybody carried it live back in the United States.
We talked about it all week leading up to it.
Exactly.
Yep.
So it was actually the perfect timing for them. And I think his message was tuned for the American audience and not so much for this audience, actually.
Welcome back, everybody. Kevin Jackson, Donald Trump in Davos. Economic summit of world leaders, CEOs from all over the world, just jostling over each other, bumping and fighting and shoving in order to get in a room so they can sit down to see the President of the United States. Barack Obama got no such reception. None. They were figuring out how to suck companies out of America because Barack Obama, with his feckless leadership, allowed these people to just run roughshod over us. Trade, our tax policy, all of it. Up for grabs, up for sale. Trump, rock star status, people fighting to get into the room. They said it would be booze. People would be walking out. Trump held court. After his speech, he went and he held court with leaders of the largest companies in the world. The Global 1,000 is what we call them, the largest companies in the world. And he says, the United States is where you're going to want to do business. And they said, coming out of that meeting, many of those companies said, you know what? You're right. We're going to start looking at what we can bring back to America. I told you guys, the tsunami that is going to come in when you start looking at the changes that Donald Trump made to the trade policy, when you start looking at, I'm talking about opening up new markets for the Chinese, shutting down, sort of fixing the trade imbalance, if you will, this $500 billion plus, almost $600 billion rather, that's been going out, just been flushed out of our economy every single year. Even if Donald Trump puts $200 billion cuts $200 billion off that trade deficit and gets it down to under $400 billion a year, that $200 billion that comes back to our economy over the course of his presidency brings $1.6 trillion back into the economy. New money that's just been going out. Now, I think it'll be much lower. I don't think we're looking for even some game. We don't have to. We can have a deficit if some country happens to be doing something really good, and we have more trade with them. But to have a $387 billion trade deficit with China is ridiculous. We can manufacture here. Think about that. That's almost $4 trillion over a decade. What does that mean? How much money can come back into the economy? But the biggest boost that we got, folks, was the deregulation. $2 trillion of deregulation that was immediately inserted back into the business of America. Companies cut the red tape. here's the beauty of cutting the red tape and that $2 trillion. I want you to think about this. That's every year. When I was a management consultant, if you go into a company and you say, let's just look at inventory, for example, and I'm going to use, let's pretend that $2 trillion is inventory in America. And I say to the guy carrying that inventory, and he's got to have, he feels like, Kevin, I've got to have this $2 trillion of inventory here every year or else I can't do business. And I go, you don't need it. We're going to go to completely just in time. You're never going to need that inventory. So let's cut that $2 trillion off your bottom line. You can sell all the inventory you currently have, and you're never going to have to keep that anymore. So that $2 trillion that he's carrying on his books every single year is gone. That's gone every single year from now on till infinity. That red tape that was bogging these people down, that the bureaucrats like Barack Obama see as giving government people more work, is gone. Just like that. Poof. So you want to know why these guys could give back $1,000 to each employee? It wasn't just the tax cut. It was the fact that bureaucracy's gone. Now, here's the other thing about it. There's more to come. He's not done. Trump says, yeah, we cut a lot of, bureaucracy out. But you know what? There's still a ton more. We're going to get rid of that. So let's say he extends it and we get another $1 trillion of bureaucracy out and the tax cuts kick in. So companies begin innovating. Let me tell you, you ever gotten a little extra cash, that you didn't know about? Maybe it was an inheritance. Maybe it was a bigger, payback, if you will, from you paying your taxes and the government giving it back. Maybe a bonus at the job, whatever. If you've gotten anything, you know what happens? Endorphins kick off in your brain and you go, whoa, I might be able to do something with this. Maybe you want to invest it. Maybe you decide, you know what? We can go do that vacation that we didn't want to take. Suddenly, I'm just going to say you'll figure out something productive. If you're smart with it and if it's relatively significant, you're going to say, you know what? I'm going to take a little vacation to clear the cobwebs, and I'm coming back and I'm going to start that business I was thinking about. And when you're in this type of an economy where it's growing and the ideas you were thinking about doing or starting to be there, starting to come to fruition, you look at Alibaba and say, you know what, I think I could develop a product relatively cheaply and sell it here or around the world. You look at an eBay and say, you know what, I am pretty good at this particular thing and finding these products. I'm going to do that thing I was thinking about. I'll use this money as the catalyst to do it. You spur entrepreneurship. There's a video out there that talks about entrepreneurship is the thing that drives the economies around the world. The more entrepreneurs you have, the more successful your economy is going to be. Not bigger government the way Nancy Pelosi and these people believe. Here's what they ended up saying. Here's what I liked about this clip that I played earlier. They say Trump, they see a combative Trump from the media, but they didn't see that guy in Davos. What they see in our media is Trump having to defend himself. That's what they see. And so when Trump goes over and he's able to be Trump and talk about the economy and talk about the things that he's going to do and what's going to make it good for their companies to come to America, they see Trump. They don't see what the media wants to paint him to be. Now, on the world stage, you have a guy that the world is looking at our economy and wondering how has he been able to do this so quickly, and they're listening. Trump held court there, man. He was like, I'll show you how to do it. Then they go on to talk about, he talked about the good story of the United States. He sold coming to the United States and bringing business. Let me ask you this. Do you think in your wildest dreams you've ever seen Barack Obama go to any of these things and sell the idea of coming to America and bringing your companies to America? He may have sold the idea of doing trade with America, but he said with his own mouth, hey, the new norm is we're losing manufacturing jobs. We're going to have to make it to a new paradigm, blah, blah, blah. Is that going to be the case down the road? Of course. There are going to be jobs that go away, and I don't know if they're ever going to come back or whatever. There's going to be levels of innovation. The United States, can't be the only country successful. But what I will tell you is Donald Trump is saying, if everybody is successful and we're all competing at the same level, then you can keep your companies, we can keep ours, and we just figure out how to trade together. Then it becomes who's innovative. And I love that Trump is saying to China and Russia, you steal our secrets, you steal our technology, and we're not going to do things with you. And eventually it'll catch up with you. Because there's no slowing of the American ability to innovate. We're the most ingenious people on the planet. That's just the truth. Then I love what they said about this. He had a 2 p.m. slot on Friday. Bad time slot. They kept, that's a terrible time slot for, 2 p.m. on Friday. Holy cow, who listens? Then they came, he was speaking to the American audience. Well, if he was speaking to the American audience, let me ask you this. Why were people fighting to get in the room? Why were people staying there when our media said they're going to get up and walk out? We heard rumors that people are going to get up and walk out. Did anybody get up and walk out? The answer is no. Donald Trump delivered in every way, and those people were riveted on his message. And it wasn't the message because it was the remnants of Barack Obama and the legacy therein. Because let me tell you, Barack Obama had his shot there, and nobody gave a crap. For all intents and purposes, they could have sent a body double because nobody was listening because they knew they'd be listening to an economic fool.
He won't stop until he's the top-rated radio talk show host in America.
What kind of weird competitive freak are you?
This is the Kevin Jackson Radio Show. This is the Kevin Jackson Radio Show.
What's up, everybody? Kevin Jackson here. It's Kevin Jackson. So glad you're with me. kjradio.com. We got tons to talk about. Your president, President Trump. I love when leftists go, he's not my president. Oh, he's your president. And let me tell you something else. You're going to be proud to say that. As soon as you get over your butt hurt, whatever it is you're going through, you're going to be, he's my president, man. I can't believe Donald Trump. Your worker, your friends, your family are all enjoying that $1,000 or $2,000 or $3,000 they got back from courtesy of Donald Trump's tax reform, courtesy of this Donald Trump economy. You are happy because you know what? You're going to be, I'm talking to the leftists right now, conservatives. We're happy. We're beaming. Yeah, because we are naturally happy. But these angry leftists, they're going to take vacations, they're going to spend more time with family and friends, and they're going to find out that life has more meaning than being angry all the time, than looking at, black people's plight is so bad, and the Latinos and the little babies, and Yeah, they're going to get over all that stuff. And they're going to be able to give more and do more and feel better about themselves, and that's going to translate into more conservatives being out there. And you know what conservatives are? I call myself a free-range Negro. See, I don't have to live under the constraints of other black folks or whatever else. I'm just a human who's able to think about what he likes, what his hopes and dreams are, and can say that openly and honestly and have no political agenda. Not even be concerned about, oh, man, my ideology has to work out no matter what. Let me tell you why the conservative ideology works out no matter what. You want to know why? You're interested in this? Huh? The reason the conservative ideology works out no matter what is because it is built on truth. It is built on a moral core, ethics. So what do we have to worry about? Eventually, all these people come back to the realization that, you know what? These people have been lying to me on the left. They've been making me believe something that's not true, and they do it it's a ruse. It is a fabricated plot, folks, against you. And the only way they can win in this game is when they're duplicitous, when they are scheming against you and theirs. See, they're scheming against us because they want their way. They're elitist. They say, we know more than you. Why can't you look at those this FISA memo that everybody's talking about? Well, because you're too stupid. They want you to believe you can't understand it. If you get this information, you won't know what to do with it. It's quite the opposite. If you get this information, you will know what to do with it. You will leave the Democrat Party. Are you paying attention, leftists? Because you don't have attention spans very long. You will leave the Democrat Party. You will say enough is enough. You're about to make a battlefield conversion. You know what that is, a battlefield conversion? Where you find Jesus? Because the cake is hitting the fan in so many ways. Bombs, bullets flying by. Clink, clink. You're going, holy God. They're looking for God. And God is appearing to him right now saying, I told you so, my son, my daughter, my whatever pronoun you would like to use. God is speaking to him. Jesus. He's saying, you better find me in your life, you lecherous leftist, because your whole foundation, everything that you stand for is about to get uplifted. Boop. If Barack Obama was your God, you're about to get a real disappointment. If the Democrat Party was your God, if you think it's the party of poverty, the party of the poor, the party of the downtrodden, the party of women, whatever you think it is, you are about to get a real rude awakening. So wake up, little girl. The Democrat Party doesn't care about your femininity. They may wear vagina costumes, but trust me, they don't care about yours. That's why they want Muslims in here to bring you some of that rape culture. Black folks, you think they care about you? Black leftists? Go look at your situation. I mean, I could go on. So I ask in the first segment of the show today, you happy? You, conservatives, are you happy? Are you happy with the outcome? Are you happy that the truth is coming out? See, we could be happy that Hillary Clinton's going down. I don't wish for Hillary Clinton to go down per se. But I am happy that the truth comes out. And if it happens that Hillary Clinton goes down, well, bonus. Because, see, Hillary Clinton at any point could have fessed up. She could have said, you know what? I did it. I do feel no ways tired. I don't feel no ways tired. I've come too far. You know, she feels no ways tired now. And she came out recently talking about, I can't say the word. I won't say the word. You can probably say it on the radio these days, but I ain't going to say it. But it rhymes with witches and hitches and ditches. All right. And she had said something like, I've got something for those hitches, ditches, and witches. And it was people called it just like this crazy utterance because I hadn't heard a single thing out of Hillary Clinton in a while. And I don't expect to. Hillary Clinton needs to lay low. Now she won't, because that's what, the left, when their backs are against the wall, they continue to lie. They finger point and say, I did not have, you just pay attention, America, right now, because I'm mad. I'm angry that you're accusing me of doing what I did. Now look here. I did not have sexual relations with that girl. And Hillary did not hide her server in the bathroom and expose secrets that have to do with the Clinton Foundation and us murdering a bunch of people. And I'm sick of y'all saying it. Yeah. I'm just telling you, it's coming out. It's being seen, and good for us. And you know what else is coming out? It's coming out that you made the right decision on Donald Trump. The left hate that. They hate that you're right. See, you were about truth and justice. You said we need a person who's going to clean up this mess. And I'm not talking about, oh, yeah, well, let's change the way we do our accounting. And, we can continue to grow the economy by faking some fictitious figure or whatever. No, you needed somebody who was going to come in and say, you know what, I can do this in my sleep. Replacing a failed community organizer is so easy, even a caveman can do it. And he did it. And you know what? You can be proud of it because Donald Trump went to Davos and he rocked it. Go look at go look at the clips. Go look at what's been saying, what people are saying about him now when they said he was going to get booed and people were going to walk out. A little bit more on that when we come back, folks. Kevin Jackson Show is what you're listening to today.
This is the Kevin Jackson Radio Show.
Do you owe back taxes to the IRS or state? The secret to avoiding the IRS nightmare is to seek professional representation. My friends at Security Tax Associates provide the most cost-effective and ethical representation in the industry while helping to avoid seizures, levies, and wage garnishments. Security Tax Associates is here to ensure that the appropriate steps are taken to permanently eliminate any possibility of future tax burdens once and for all. For a free, no-obligation consultation, contact Security Tax Associates, 844-779-4177. That's 844-779-4177. 844-779-4177. Or visit them at securitytaxassociates.com.
Beth Cook Moranville, author of Closer Than Your Breath, a book of hope.
Hope, that wonderful, wonderful four-letter word that you may feel completely out of. I wrote this book to give you great hope. It's not too late. If fetal position is an all too familiar place for you, I understand. If the next 60 seconds are too long, this book is for you. Wherever you are right now, whether you're dealing with divorce or death or sickness, take hope. You are going to make it through this pain. Don't roll your eyes. I've walked this road and I know it. The best is yet to come.
Closer Than Your Breath, a book of hope from author and speaker Beth Cook Moranville, can be found on Amazon.com or Kindle.com. For more information, visit closerthanyourBreath.com or on Facebook at Closer Than Your Breath.
This is the Kevin Jackson Radio Show.
Welcome back, everybody. Real quick statement, what they said about Donald Trump and this whole Davos thing. But CNBC reported on this, and I played the clips earlier. Maybe we'll play them a little later. I don't like repeating stuff. So catch it, kjradio.com, and you can hear the first segments. But here's what they said. While the crowd didn't leave, quote, being in love with Donald Trump, Kempe said, they did leave, quote, feeling that they have to re-examine their current thinking about him as a leader. And that's about as best as he could have put it, could have come out of it. The article continues. Some leaders at Davos are now thinking of investing in the United States, who previously were not, Kempe said. The performance may also have scored Trump an invitation to next year's World Economic Forum, he said. What? Now, see, that's where you get into the nonsense. What do you mean it may have? First of all, if you have a World Economic Forum and the United States is not there, you haven't had an economic forum. Certainly not a world one. Are you kidding? They go on to say this, though. In fact, the, quote, combative, loud Trump that people have grown accustomed to seeing on TV wasn't there, said Tony Fratto, former White House deputy press secretary and assistant Treasury secretary for President George W. Bush. He was more reserved, and he also had a good story to tell about the United States. Hey, earth to leftists, Donald Trump is a reasonable man who knows what he's doing. Combative, loud Trump? How loud can you be on Twitter? He's not using all caps. Donald Trump merely protects his reputation, his brand. And let me tell you something. I don't know who the richest man in the world is right now. Maybe it is Jeff Bezos. Maybe it is Zuckerberg or one of these other leftist clowns. But I'll tell you who the guy who's got the most credibility in the world and who is worth more, maybe not on paper, than all of them combined. It is Donald Trump. That is what he's getting out of this presidency. And you can bet nobody on the left expected it, right? They thought, oh, Donald Trump's going to get in there and he's going to be a moron. He won't know what he's doing. Yeah, why? Because he went to Wharton and he took $1 million loan and built himself into a multi-billion-dollar, organization and brand, known worldwide, reality show TV star. You fired. Everybody knows who he is. And then he takes that and becomes president of the United States and has a year one that is better than Ronald Reagan, at least according to the Heritage Institute. That's what he did. What do you think the Donald Trump brand is worth right now? What do you think Trump, I'll put it to you this way. Would you, as a CEO, let Trump run your organization? Yeah, what do you guys? Of course you would. I would. How many people do you think feel the same way? Now, ask yourself this question. How many of those people would let Barack Obama run their corporations? If you name me anybody that would let Barack Obama run their corporation, I will show you a failed company within 2 years. Guy's a moron. I've said it multiple times. I want to drive that point home. He is a first-class idiot of the highest order. Anyway, Trump rocked it in Davos. Here were some of the things that came out that I thought was very interesting. I was looking at tweets over the weekend, and here's one. A guy predicted the future. This could happen this week. Number 1, FISA memo made public. Number 2, Democrat indictment parade. Number 3, 2018 elections. The future, okay, got it. Yeah, we know that's going to happen. Number 4, trials on live TV. Number 5. Wait. No, I'm sorry. I messed it up. That's what screwed me up. 2018 elections for trials on live TV. So people are gonna see these trials on TV saying. Number 4, prison. Number 5, epic Hillary prison interview. Number 6, Trump 2020 landslide. Number 7, Dow hits 33,333. I love that one. Number 8, Hillary bedside confession to everything. I thought, you know what? That's a pretty good prediction. Now, here's what's funny about this, and I've got an ongoing dialogue with a gentleman named Carl, who I like. I like Carl. Carl's a sharp guy. He just doesn't believe this is going to happen. But these are the things that are trending on Twitter, by the way. There are people saying FISA memo gets made public, Democrat indictment parade, Hillary in prison, and many others. We've seen people lawyering up. Now, here's what I'm going to tell you. The number of people lawyering up will go up likely, certainly every month leading into 2018. It's going to go up. So we had 2 lawyer up in the month of January. I expect 3 people at least to lawyer up in February. And it's a short month. I expect 4 people to lawyer up in March, and so on. And don't feel like you were out of the loop if you end up having as many as 50 people who've lawyered up in the Obama administration. And I'm going to even go a step further and tell you that I'm going to predict that Barack Obama himself will need to pursue legal representation in 2018. And I get it if people say to me, Kevin, man, that's just no way it's going to happen. I'm telling you, that's my prediction. I would add to this guy's prediction that the number of people that you're going to see many, many Democrats lawyer up, including Barack Obama. And as I said to you guys before in a different broadcast, I cannot wait until Barack Obama lawyers up, and I'd love to be a fly on the wall. Any Democrat where there's a group of them, when they say the former President Barack Obama has sought legal representation at the firm of, Diddy, Cheatham, and Howe. And I'm going to go, there you go. I'm going to say it right to their faces. I told you so. The Ugandan president is smarter than America's leftist, and he understands this. Here's what he says. He says, I love Trump because he's frank. Africa can do much better. Now, this has to infuriate the liberals who say that Trump is a racist. The president of Uganda is saying Trump knows what's going on. He speaks the truth. He's unafraid to say it. And you know what? I validate what Donald Trump just said. Africa could do much better. Now, don't even get me started on Africa. because I get mad because I'm a lot of African. I told you what my DNA was. I mean, I'm all over Africa. So it angers me when I think of how great of a continent Africa could be if it ran like the United States. If they put their resources together, Africa would be, it's the richest, probably the richest continent in the world. And you talk about tourism. If Africa had its act together, the tourism alone would be enough to finance that country. Be back in a bit.
This is the Kevin Jackson Radio Show. This is the Kevin Jackson Radio Show.
His problem is that the Minority Leader Chuck Schumer is threatening to take away a must-have from President Trump, and that is the border wall. So now the president has responded on Twitter. He writes this: crying Chuck Schumer fully understands, especially after his humiliating defeat, that if there is no wall, there is no DACA. We must have safety and security together with a strong military for our great people. Schumer has been putting a lot of pressure on Republicans here in the Senate, now threatening to make Mitch McConnell's life very difficult if he softens his commitment to advance a DACA fix before those people brought to the country illegally as kids face deportation. Schumer's preference is by February 8th.
We've gotten a commitment from Senator McConnell, trust but verify, but he made it not just to Democrats, but to a good chunk of his own caucus. So that means a lot. And I think we have renewed momentum.
Republican senators that I've been talking to are happy to help DACA recipients figure out a way to stay, but they don't see a need to do it until March, which is, of course, a month after Schumer wants it done.
Well, time is a-ticking, Peter. So how much optimism is there in the Senate that an immigration deal can be made?
It seems like people feel pretty good about it, and there is optimism about an immigration deal. But Senator John Thune is saying it is very important that they figure out a way to make sure that they have enough Democrats on board to actually pass something out of the Senate. And on the Republican side, their wish list is very straightforward.
Welcome, everybody. Kevin Jackson here. It's the Kevin Jackson Show. Chuck Schumer trying to get all tough. Tough Chuck. Donald Trump calls him Crying Schumer. Crying Chuck, isn't he? Crying Chuck. I love that. Great nickname. Crying Chuck. So Schumer, I'm starting to cough. What's up with this? It's not even a smell. It's making me cough here. Anyway, Schumer, it's funny to me that he believes himself to be in the driver's seat. You know, he's the one that can control all of this. I mean, what a phony. Look, I would say to Democrats, there's no way to win here. I don't even want to stay on this subject very long, except to tell you that there's no way they win this battle. They might as well move along. Trump set all kinds of traps, and they fell into every single one. They are mortally wounded on DACA. Even this latest round of let's do 1.5 million, 1.8 million people, and the Democrats back away from that, and you're like, you're going to do 1.8 million, which you only had talked about 800,000, and they reject it. Now Donald Trump can say, they rejected a good offer. I gave them even more than what they wanted. I wanted to prove to you, America, that they don't care. See, we've already discussed this before. We talked to you. I wrote a piece about it and told you that it was a ploy. The Democrats don't care about the number of the 800,000 dreamers. What they care about are the votes of the chain migration that would continue. And that's what they need. They need chain migration. What Donald Trump has done is he is sending illegals home. They're going home. But by the way, while we were talking about all this stuff right now, there were raids going on in Texas and Oklahoma of illegals. And the Democrats know there's nothing they can do about it. And I'm going to tell you, when we really start cracking down on these sanctuary city governors and mayors, the ones who ditched out on the meeting with the president, because they said, well, if he's going to implement things that make our lives miserable, make us have to live up to our constitutional rights, well then, we're not going to go to his meeting. And I scoff at this. I want you to take note. I want everybody listening to the Kevin Jackson Show, kjradio.com. I want you to take note of what I say to you right now. You're going to watch over the next few months, mayor after mayor decide, I need to meet with President Trump. Now, I wanted to say something else. I wanted to tell you guys there's an issue there that we have to remain aware of. This redistricting, and they're suing, I believe it's Hawaii. No, not Hawaii. Somewhere the Republicans took over. They're suing because Republicans began redistricting. Redistricting doesn't sound like much. It's very innocuous. It's like, oh, who cares? To the winner goes the spoils. So the Republicans said, okay, to the winner goes the spoils. Let's redistrict. Now, these redistricting committees are non-governmental people. The governor of a place will set up a civilian, supposedly bipartisan group who'll set up and do redistricting. But it's not bipartisan. It's as bipartisan as Durbin and Lindsey Graham getting together to give a DACA bill to the president. And I would ask you, do you think Lindsey Graham is bipartisan? Is he really representing the interest of the Republicans? And the answer is no. But they'll find these stooges and put them on these committees. Now, these are citizens that are unelected who then decide how to redistrict. And every group that comes to power redistricts based on what's good for that group. And you know what they do? They carve in and out of the black community, mostly in the Latino community, the minority communities, as best they can. They know exactly where they get, for example, the biggest number of Republican votes. So what they'll do if the Democrats are in charge is they'll say, we're going to redistrict, and hopefully we can bring in a big swath of Democrats in that area. They will even go, Democrats have this to such a science that they will move illegals or whomever, whatever special interest group they can, into that area so that they can lessen the Republican vote. And they do it little by little over a series of elections until they make a powerfully red area, at the very least purple, and in most cases blue. Now, they did this in Colorado. And the Colorado model, even though it was only temporary, it showed that if you wanted to influence an election cycle, you can. And that's what happened in Wisconsin. That's what happened in Virginia, because they take lots of money, they get lots of people and operatives on the streets, and they change the demographic for a while. The problem is it doesn't last, because leftism, it sucks, so it doesn't last. But they are now trying to make the model to where it will last. It'll last more than you can even imagine. So here's what I want you to understand. In the time that the Republican Party won 950 plus state legislature seats, they won 19 governorships, they won 38 congressional seats and 9 Senate seats. Roughly, those are the right numbers. They only control 46.2% of the voting population. So after triage against the Democrats, at the hands of Barack Obama, the Republicans, you would think with all of our wins that we would be in control of 58% of the legislature, the voting block within these different areas. We're not. Why? Because of redistricting. Democrats, when they were in power, redistricted in such a way that it is almost impossible for Republicans to take over states. Now, we did win governorships and things like that, but I'm telling you, we don't control the we don't control the voting block the way we should. Think about it this way. Look at the maps of these cities in the counties, and it's practically red. But in those small areas of blue, always around big cities, that's what's dictating politics. those blue areas are what dictate politics. They're really not blue. They've been made blue. And what the cities have figured out, what the Democrats have figured out, is if they concentrate on those cities and do these types of shenanigans, and that's how they can make this work. And that's why the mayors ignore Trump. That's why your fight inside of your big city, your fight against that university that is there to be a cancer to conservatism. You see it as, whoa, we've got lots of universities around, and now, and you feel like it's part of culture. It's not part of culture. It's there for a reason. It's there to be a poison pill for you against conservatism. It's a thought trap, an indoctrination center, and there are many others. Churches used to be these bastions of truth. They're no longer that. They are indoctrination centers, particularly the black churches. Indoctrination. So we've got to learn this quickly and then get control of this redistricting. And this redistricting thing that got shot down by some state Supreme Court where Republicans were redistricting must be fought. But more importantly, it should not be citizens who are doing this. It should be elected officials who do this. That when I talked about the deep state earlier, the deep state is defined as the group of people who are unaccountable to the public but are making the decisions on our behalf. It is absolutely necessary that while we have Donald Trump in office, we eliminate these deep state operatives.
Kevin Jackson on the Black Sphere Radio Network.
Do you owe back taxes to the IRS or state? The secret to avoiding the IRS nightmare is to seek professional representation. My friends at Security Tax Associates provide the most cost-effective and ethical representation in the industry while helping to avoid seizures, levies, and wage garnishments. Security Tax Associates is here to ensure that the appropriate steps are taken to permanently eliminate any possibility of future tax burdens once and for all. For a free, no-obligation consultation, contact Security Tax Associates, 844-779-4177. That's 844-779-4177. 844-779-4177. Or visit them at securitytaxassociates.com.
Putting an end to identity politics. This is the Kevin Jackson Radio Show.
What's up, everybody? How's it feel to have the left by the short hairs? Glad you guys are here. Kevin Jackson Show is what you're listening to. kjradio.com. If you want to give me a call, 844-551-8255. We got them by the short hairs. We got them running around. They don't even know which way to look. They are still trying to run interference on the truth, and it's not working. They don't know how to act. That's because of you. You were smart enough to get them running, boy. Woo! God bless the conservative movement. God bless the USA. That was a little, what was that? Kind of like a little bit of Elvis and, I don't know, a little bit of Lee Greenwood, but with a touch of Elvis at the end of there. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, Priscilla, you with me? Boom! Chelsea Clinton funneled $1 million in federal contracts to her friends, and you thought little Chelsea was all innocent. You know, because she got married. She's popping out little grandbabies for Hillary, for crooked Hillary and crooked Bill. Oh, I'm so happy we have a grandbaby because now we look more, we don't look like we just go around killing people. Because we used to go around just killing people. And now you got grandbabies, just can't, people don't look at you as killers. They position Chelsea as angelic. I'm surprised they're not telling us that Chelsea had an immaculate conception. These babies are born of God in a manger. Go to some black church. Show Chelsea out there in the hay. Oh my goodness. When the Clintons, when they added their daughter to the foundation, they didn't need her help. I mean, look, if you set something up as a charity and you're the Rockefellers, and you say it's the Rockefeller Foundation, You don't go, well, we're also going to include little Bobby and little Billy and little Susie, little Rockefeller. You just call it the Rockefeller Foundation. Everybody understands it's the family foundation. And as the kids mature, then you know, little Bobby, little Billy, little Cindy, David, whatever. I don't know all the Rockefellers. But all those rich white kids can now say, yeah, we're part of the Rockefeller Foundation. You don't have to say that. We're the Rockefellers. Most places that would be a funny, strange name, but not in America. You say Rockefeller. If I was, you know, if the Rockefellers weren't rich and you didn't know them, I was like, yeah, my name's Kevin Rockefeller. What kind of name is Rockefeller? I would get ridiculed over that. But nope, I'm part of the Rockefeller Foundation. Oh, you are? Old money. Yeah, people would be all excited. And the Clintons wanted to be that. They wanted to go from, you know, cornbread, inbred, cornbread eating. Yeah, cornbread eating, inbred, country trash, white trash. Okay, I said it. To a sophisticated couple that has its own foundation, the Clinton family foundation, the Clinton Foundation. Yes, indeed. And Chelsea, they didn't need her. Yeah, but they did it. They added Chelsea to the foundation. Let me put it a different way. Chelsea brought no expertise to the foundation. The expertise needed was Bill Clinton, former president, who had all the connections, and Hillary to run interference in the State Department. State Department Hillary. Crooked Hillary and Crooked Bill. Boom. That's all they needed. What in the world's going on out there? But in order to feel, you know, to give the foundation that little touch, you know, that little thing that made people forget about the worldwide connections to thieves and scoundrels and the interference that the State Department could run, they needed little Chelsea. Mommy and Daddy Dearest would make sure that the other stuff got taken care of, but Chelsea's job was to look innocent. She was just supposed to be innocent. Because the Clinton Foundation, well, it was established to help the widows and orphans, you know. You know, who better than little Chelsea to do that? But, as we've learned now, the apple doesn't fall too far from the trees. And Chelsea may not be quite as innocent as we thought she was. Now, I've been saying this for a while. I remember they said Chelsea actually tried to blow the whistle on some of the things in the Clinton administration, but she did it unknowingly. It was like, well, you know, what are we doing this, Mom and Dad? And they were like, hey, Chelsea, now it's best not to ask too many questions. Bill Clinton was, well, Chelsea, you know, you can't know everything that we're doing over here. You know, I mean, you know, there's a lot of things that are above your pay grade. Yeah. Widows and orphans. During Hillary Clinton's tenure as Secretary of State, more than $11 million of federal contracts were awarded to a questionably legitimate think tank, which is owned and operated by Chelsea Clinton's best friend, her BFF. Jacqueline Newmeyer, whom Chelsea says is her best friend, owns and operates Long-Term Strategy Group, LTSG. Over the past 10 years, LTSG has been awarded more than $11 million from a Department of Defense think tank known as the Office of Net Assessment, the ONA. Long-Term Strategy Group has a virtually non-existent website, no security clearances, yet to date they've received $11.2 million in federal contracts, and this is according to usaspending.gov. You are free to go check that out. I went and looked. I was like, well, I want to see this for myself. I don't know if this is true. I presume it's true. And it is true. They're all listed there. $1 million Department of Defense in 2009, 624. Another 1.3 million in that one. 1.2 million in 2008. 297,000 2011. 228,000 in 2013. 215,000 2015. And these are I would be guaranteed, you know, pretty much these are what they call IDIQ contracts, indefinite quantity, indefinite delivery contracts, probably given under the auspices of the SBA, small women-owned businesses, is what I'm guessing. Story swept under the rug for the most part by the media, broke during Hillary Clinton's run-up to her butt-kicking by Donald Trump, but the fake news media would not implicate little Chelsea. The conservative outlets have reported on it. The Free Beacon reported on it in October of 2016. Here's what they said. Former Secretary of State sought to arrange Pentagon and State Department consulting contracts for her daughter's friend, prompting concerns of federal ethics rules violations. Clinton in 2009 arranged meetings between Jacqueline Newmeyer Deal, a friend of Chelsea Clinton, and the head of the Defense Consulting Group, Long-Term Strategy Group, with Pentagon officials that involve contracting discussions, according to emails from Clinton's private server made public recently by the State Department. Clinton also tried to help Deal win a contract for consulting work with the State Department's Director of Policy Planning, according to the emails. Deal is a close friend of Chelsea, who is vice chair of the Clinton Foundation. Emails between the two were included among the thousands recovered from a private email server used by Secretary of State between 2009 and 2013. Chelsea Clinton described Deal as her best friend. Both Clintons attended Deal's 2011 wedding. And I bet it was a grandiose one because Deal had locked in deals at that point that had netted her company millions of dollars. People in her company had to be going, this chick is delivered. Yeah, but they didn't want you to know this. They didn't want you to find this out. It's like that picture of Barack Obama with Farrakhan. Did you see that picture? That picture was taken with Barack Obama, Farrakhan, and members of the Congressional Black Caucus. Barack Obama said to them, you can't show this picture privately or I might not become president. Then he wins the primaries and he still says you still can't show it. And 8 years later, they declassify the picture and show him hanging out with a guy who wants to see the destruction of the Jews, who says white people are the devil. Now they let you see it. Oh, man. And we have to recover. Hillary Clinton said, no, the emails that I discussed, the emails that I hid or I got rid of were things that have to do with Chelsea's wedding. They had to do with my yoga. They had to do with, personal issues or whatever. And she said supposedly they were going to keep these dividing lines between the Secretary of State and the Clinton Foundation. An obvious lie because those lines aren't even, to say they're blurred is ridiculous. They don't exist. And we find out again, how? Through FOIA, Freedom of Information, not because Hillary cooperated and said, I'm going to give you everything I have. No, she hid this. And you can bet these contracts are just a percentage of what other bigger contracts are getting because this lady's probably an MWBE, a minority woman-owned business enterprise, according to the SBA, and that's how they're letting her do this. And companies are benefiting by saying they're doing business with the LTSG, and when in fact they're not doing business with them. It's a pass-through. I've hired forensic accountants to look at every deal done by the Clintons if I was the president.
He won't stop until he's the top-rated radio talk show host in America.
What kind of weird competitive freak are you?
This is the Kevin Jackson Radio Show. This is the Kevin Jackson Radio Show.
Welcome back, everybody. Kevin Jackson here. The left, that would be the Democrats, that would be the progressives, have suddenly become the party of the wealthy because Nancy Pelosi calls $1,000 bonuses crumbs.
To really grow the economy in a way where everyone benefits.
If I may add to that, and thank you, Seth. Here's the thing. There's a cartoon that I just love. Should have brought it. There's a little mouse trap. It's got a little piece of cheese on there, and there's a mouse about to take it, and that's called the middle class. Give you this little crumb, and around it are fat cats. They don't go on like elephants, but anyway, around there, and that's the thing. You get this little thing, and we get this big bonanza. You get the crumb, we get the banquet.
Welcome back, everybody. Welcome back, fat cats. Oh, I'm sorry, elephants. Yeah, what Trump did is a setup, see? It's a setup. you go into the trap, you get the cheese, but you might get your head cut off. I don't know how many people got that $1,000 to $3,000 bonus to feel as if they got their heads cut off. But I know a few of them who feel like, what a bonanza. What an unexpected amount of money that could really help my family. The buddy I told you guys about, who got $667 net in his check of the $1,000 that he got back from American Airlines. I know what happened to his car, because he was helping me move something when the axle broke on his car. He knew it was going to happen, and it did happen. And so he has to get that fixed. It was $400 that he wasn't counting on. This guy lives paycheck to paycheck. He has a card at his home for electricity. So, and I don't know if you guys know, in Arizona they have electricity cards. So you can pick your service. There's like 12 different services you can pick. He has a card, and his card, when he runs out of electricity, he recharges the card, and he's on a service that essentially, I don't know, because like I said, you have some that let you have peak time and all these different features you can have, and he's on the one that, and he's been there a couple years, so he knows how it works, and he keeps that thing at exactly the right amount. So to get $667 where he can put another $50 of electricity on his card, I mean, it sounds trivial, but that's what he does. That's what he does. His wife is disabled, got bit in the eye by a dog, and now has blurry vision and things like this. At one point, she was a chief money winner. So it isn't that they're derelicts or anything. It's that circumstances have made their lives different. And when he got this $1,000 bonus, he texts me, dude, I got $1,000 here. He goes, I netted $667 when he came over. I said, congratulations on that $1,000. That had to help. He says, well, it was $667, but hey, I'm not complaining. He goes, under Obama, I wasn't going to get it. Under Obama, my company was not thriving. He goes, I don't know how American Airlines is doing. I don't keep up with it as a stock. But in his book, it's doing better. He can sense it in the company. He said to me, yeah, man, he goes, I've seen more open wrecks at American Airlines in a couple months, I think he said, than he'd seen in a long time. This is the Trump factor. But the Democrats call this crumbs. I mean, does this not make you feel like that 47% moment for Romney? I want to see how they extricate themselves from this going into 2018, when Republicans are reminding people about the crumbs that they got in their checks. When they show that not only did Nancy Pelosi call it crumbs, but so did Debbie Wasserman Schultz. The Democrat Party's top leaders flick aside these bonuses and these pay hikes that 250 companies like Home Depot, Fiat Chrysler, Wells Fargo, are giving to their employees as a result of what, folks? The tax reforms of Donald Trump. They don't want to admit that these tax reforms are working, that they are doing things inside of the economy, and they're doing it quicker than at any time in modern history, making an impact. And let me tell you, Nancy Pelosi talked about welfare with stimulus. Let me tell you what that middle class tax cut was. It was stimulus on steroids. Let me tell you what these $1,000 and $2,000 and $3,000 bonuses are. They are circulating right back into the economy. These people are finally feeling exuberant enough. Americans, middle-class Americans, to say, now we can take that vacation. Now we can spend and get that second car we needed, or the car for our kid, or get them incidentals that we couldn't formerly get them, buy their books for them. We can put a few more groceries in the house. We can buy a couple more clothes. My friend's wife, she said, hey, was able to get my hair done. She told me it was $129. They get a $667 check that they've been busting their butts, to get. It's a bonus. And he says, go get your hair done. $129. She was beaming. Why? Because she hadn't been able to do it in ages. Years. They haven't had that expendable income. Now, personally, I think they should have saved it. I didn't see a whole lot of difference. But if it made her feel good and he felt good about doing it, great. Because you know what? If they, at the end of the day, were getting $667. They still had $500+ that they could put in the bank. Finally get a little bit of a cushion, just in case. How many people do you think see that $1,000, $2,000, $3,000 bonus and whatever the net was as money they hadn't had for just that little emergency or that thing they couldn't catch up on? How many of those? Do you really believe this to be a crumb, a mousetrap with a piece of cheese, and you stick your head, or you go in there to get that little piece of cheese at the risk of getting your neck broken? Because let me tell you, that is exactly what the economy that Barack Obama built. First of all, my buddy wouldn't have gotten that bonus. He'd still be struggling. But worse yet, and this is what I wanted to get to, it wasn't just Nancy Pelosi who said this. Yeah, a crumb. Corporate fat cats are going to get so much more. Former chief of the DNC, Debbie Wasserman Schultz, dismissed the $1,000 bonus as chump change. She says, what's it going to be worth when taxed? What are you going to get? Well, I know what you're going to get because one of my buddies told me what he got. Pelosi said, there's a cartoon I love, a little mousetrap, who's got a little piece of cheese on it, and there's a mouse about to take it, and that's called the middle class. And around it are fat cats, and they look like elephants. But anyway, around there, and that's the thing. They get this little thing. We get this big bonanza. You get the crumb. We get the banquet. Well, I can tell you who got the banquet leading up to this. Barack Obama and his cronies. And Trump turned it around, and the Democrats can't stand it. More when we come back.
This is the Kevin Jackson Radio Show.
Do you owe back taxes to the IRS or state? The secret to avoiding the IRS nightmare is to seek professional representation. My friends at Security Tax Associates provide the most cost-effective and ethical representation in the industry while helping to avoid seizures, levies, and wage garnishments. Security Tax Associates is here to ensure that the appropriate steps are taken to permanently eliminate any possibility of future tax burdens once and for all. For a free, no-obligation consultation, contact Security Tax Associates, 844-779-4177. That's 844-779-4177. 844-779-4177. Or visit them at securitytaxassociates.com.
Beth Cook Moranville, author of Closer Than Your Breath, a book of hope.
Hope, that wonderful, wonderful 4-letter word that you may feel completely out of. I wrote this book to give you great hope. It's not too late. If fetal position is an all too familiar place for you, I understand. If the next 60 seconds are too long, this book is for you. Wherever you are right now, whether you're dealing with divorce or death or sickness, take hope. You are going to make it through this pain. Don't roll your eyes. I've walked this road and I know it. The best is yet to come.
Closer Than Your Breath, a book of hope from author and speaker Beth Cook Moranville, can be found on Amazon.com or Kindle.com. For more information, visit closerthanyourBreath.com or on Facebook at Closer Than Your Breath.
This is the Kevin Jackson Radio Show.
Welcome back, everybody. Kevin Jackson here. Madame Hillary, Madame President. Boy, was that going to be true. The feminist who allowed decades of sexual abuse. And you're thinking, Kevin, you're just going to tell us more stuff about Hillary and Bill Clinton and how much, Bill was allowed to be a womanizer and a philanderer and all this other stuff. No. Madame President would have fit had Hillary Clinton been elected because Clinton covered up decades of sexual abuse for her husband, but she also protected other men who were in her orbit. That's right. New story that just came out. Hillary Clinton would do anything to be elected, and if that meant, sacrificing a few of the female folks, then if that was the case, she had to do it. Yeah, she claimed to be the protector of the women's and the children's, but she was anything but. In her thirst for power, Clinton proved time and again there is nothing that would stand in the way of her achieving her goals. Her goal was world domination. Dr. Evil personified. Story about that broke in the New York Times. Clinton protecting a top advisor in 2008 from being fired. He got hit with multiple sexual harassment allegations. Not one, not two, multiple. That means more than one, more than two. Senior advisor to her, accused of repeatedly sexually harassing a young subordinate, was kept on the campaign at Hillary Clinton's request. This is according to 4 people familiar with the circumstances. This is no right-wing conspiracy, certainly not a vast right-wing conspiracy. The complaint was made by a 30-year-old Clinton staffer who shared an office with a guy named Strider, Burns Strider. Clinton, it was recommended, fire Burns Strider, but she would not do it. 30-year-old staffer said he came up, he rubbed her shoulders inappropriately. Now look, there may have been a time when guys could do that because you knew each other, was a little more familiarity. We're talking about campaigns, we're talking about a whole new day. You don't do that. You can do that to your girlfriend, you can do that to your wife, maybe your daughter. You can't do that to other people. Even sometimes other people's wives now, because you have to really know somebody to be laying hands on a woman. Then, says he inappropriately kissed her on the forehead, but worse than this, he sent suggestive emails. See, the physical stuff, you can go, okay, he rubbed my shoulders. They're touchy-feely people. He even kissed me on my forehead. Oh, precious, little kiss on the forehead. But when you start sending suggestive emails, now you're getting a little bit, the words that may never hurt you are the words that can bring you down. But instead of being fired, Mr. Strider was docked several weeks' pay, ordered to undergo counseling, and the young woman was moved to a new job. Mr. Strider, ironically, was Clinton's faith advisor, a co-founder of American Values Network, and he sent Hillary Clinton scripture readings every morning for months during the campaign. I told you many times, leftists will disguise their deviant behavior in very conservative things. The pedophile will be a coach. He will appear to be a mentor to your children as he's plotting how he can get them alone so he can selfishly do what he wants. A person who wants to have clearance to do anything will pretend that he's a person of character. He will say, I'm going to send you scriptures every day, Hillary Clinton. And then when Hillary hears, this is what Burns Strider did. Oh, my goodness, that's impossible. He sends me scripture every morning. No way. He's my faith advisor. Who's that lying wench that said that? Hillary, that would be the woman that you say we should believe, before we just dismiss it at hand. Yeah, he wasn't fired. Clinton uses powerful men. And if a few women get hurt, hey, they're collateral damage. You've heard the term. And in the case of Strider, get this, Hillary Clinton rehired this guy in 2016 when she was running against Donald Trump. He was hired 5 years later to lead an independent group that supported Hillary's 2016 candidacy. It was called Correct the Record. That group was created by a close Clinton ally. You know him as David Brock, Media Matters. He was fired after several months for workplace issues, including allegations that he harassed a young female aide. This is according to 3 people who are close to Correct the Record's management. So now we've got 2 occasions where this guy has been accused of sexual harassment by people close to both of the organizations. Still, even after being fired again for sexual harassment claims, according to Strider's Twitter feed, because I saw it, he's there with Hillary Clinton, with his son, staying in close touch with Hillary Clinton. Not just her campaign manager. Nope. Faith and values guru for the Democratic Party. A native of Grenada, Mississippi, Bernstrider is co-founder and principal at the Elysian Group and co-founder of and president of American Values Network, senior advisor, director of faith and values outreach to Hillary Clinton in her 2008 presidential campaign, a leading figure in the nation on the cross-section of faith, values, and culture. Strider is known as the faith and values guru for the Democratic Party. That's what his bio says. And if it wasn't enough, this God-fearing Nancy Pelosi, who believes that God is on the side of the Democrats, hired Strider to work as her senior advisor from 2003 to 2006. So trust me when I tell you, by the time Clinton hired him in 2008, it was well known who this person was. But where's the fake news media on this story? They don't seem too interested in showcasing this new man who's connected to two of the most powerful Democratic women and who has yet again proven that Democrats don't give a crap about protecting women. Just like they conveniently forgot, the press this is, about the disgraced sexual predator Harvey Weinstein, because you know what? They don't want to talk about Harvey. That brings back all the nasty work of Hollywood and blah, blah, blah. They got James Franco now to talk about over there. Every one of these people have been involved with the Harvey Weinsteins and the Bern Striders and the James Francos and all of them. They all go to the same places, the same haunts. They all act as if they're all superstars and studs, taking pictures with one another, using each other as bait. Look at where I can hang out with Hillary. I've got access to the Secretary of State, the former president, even the President of the United States. Look at me with my picture. And Hillary's got pictures of Harvey Weinstein. I've got access to Hollywood. I'm powerful. You better know who I am. Don't you cross me. And they act as if they care about their populace. The vagina women, the vagina heads walking around in these crazy outfits, acting as if Donald Trump is their problem. The problem of these sexual deviants, I'm talking about these leftist women, is right under their nose. And you know what? They love it. They love the Harvey Weinsteins. They love the ability to get ahead quickly. If I can use my feminine wiles and get a movie or get power, I'll do it. Hillary Clinton, there's no limit to what she was willing to do to become president of the United States, sexually or otherwise. And she's using men who do what they want with women to help her.
This is the Kevin Jackson Radio Show. The Kevin Jackson Radio Show.
Welcome back, everybody. Crumb snatchers, crumb givers. You elected a president that gives out crumbs for bonuses, $1,000 to $3,000. The Democrats can do far better than you. They've got a system in place. It's called leftism. You heard about it? Yeah, they line it up so that when they set themselves up, they don't even have to work and they can still make the same amount of money. They can make money on insider trading. They have multiple ways of making money. Book scams. They will even sell uranium to your enemy. They will sell secrets to the Chinese. Tactical secrets, missile secrets. They will drop money in the hands of people like the Iranians. They will leave arms for ISIS. They will cause disturbances that require you to spend more money because the Democrats are protecting you. That's why they arm Iranian nukes. That's why they let agreements like North Korea in the nuke program happen. That's why they send money, billions of dollars, and leave billions of dollars of equipment for terrorist organizations like ISIS. That's why they form groups like ACORN and all these internal organizations that do nothing but fight inside of America and have become known as the deep state. That's why they do these things. They want to get ahead. They want to keep things going because doing that allows them to get more and more of your money. They keep you fearful. They tell you America cannot be successful without them, without the shenanigans that they pull. So we got another crooked Obama administration bureaucrat who gets discovered in the year 2018. Well, he got discovered a little earlier, but justice is finally coming to him this year. His name is Jeffrey Wertkin. He was a trial attorney in the Civil Division of the United States Department of Justice from 2010 to April of 2016. He is an Obama bureaucrat. And apparently, after only 6 years in the Obama administration, this Georgetown-educated lawyer that also has a Ph.D. along with his Juris Doctorate decided to pursue a life of crime. And who could blame him, because he watched criminal activity at the highest level. So Above the Law reported this: Jeffrey Workin blew up his own career. This we know. Hell, he knew it the second he was arrested last February when he told the arresting agent, "My life is over." Get this, he was wearing a disguise that included a wig at the time of his arrest. But the question remains, why would a once successful Georgetown-educated lawyer, who pretty much has the world by the string, throw away a legal career? Now, I suggest Workin saw just how much money those in the Obama administration could make in other ways, devious ways, and he decided, you know what, I can do that. Thus, this former Justice Department prosecutor sought to sell sealed lawsuits brought by whistleblowers to the targets of pending investigation. So in other words, he was going to say, he found out Kevin's a whistleblower against Philip Morris. So he would go to Philip Morris and say, I have all the details of what Kevin is saying about you, Philip Morris. All you need to do is hire me. I will get you and your legal team all of this, but you got to hire my firm to help represent you, and then we'll figure out a way out of this. That's what he would do. So I want you to think of the ramifications of this. This is a person who worked in the Justice Department. We're supposed to feel good about this, right? Because these are the people that protect us. And he's gathered up all these files of whistleblowers. He specifically targeted. He went into the whistleblower file cabinet and picked up all those files, copied them or did whatever he did. And then he decided, it's time for me to leave the Barack Obama administration in 2016, and he joins a very influential D.C. law firm by the name of Aiken, Gump, Strauss, Hauer, and Feld. Just consider what's going on here. People who have whistleblown on corporations who are doing wrong things to people. And this guy says, I can make money off of these folks. I'm going to exploit them. And so he pulls these files and he goes over to the law firm of Aiken, Gump, Strauss, Hauer, and Feld. And what he did is he planned to acquire these new clients because he was going to sell these sealed complaints and his services to defend these people against them. It was a just add water law practice. Because can you imagine, you've got a huge whistleblower case against you. You're some multinational big corporation worth billions of dollars. And you know you're going to have to buck up for tens of millions of dollars, if not more, in potentially just a regular lawsuit or a class action lawsuit or what have you. And here's a guy that comes along and he's going to be your white knight. Tens of millions of dollars now goes down to manageable fees. You know, here's all the documentation for a flat fee and your agreement that you're going to make us your attorney for this amount of time. And suddenly $10 million or $20 or $50 million in a class action lawsuit or more can now be covered for the nice, tidy sum of $500,000 a year. So you've extended any problems you have out for 20 years. And who knows, maybe this guy has access to more. These are the people who say they're going to protect you. This is a person hired by somebody in the Barack Obama administration who says, I trust this Georgetown lawyer. He will represent the people of this nation. He will protect them from the evildoers. And what does this guy Jeffrey Workin do? He sells out America. And let me tell you why he did it. He did it because that is what the left do. They are cheaters. They will use anything, including the American public. They will tell you they protect women as they absolutely make sure that women are taken advantage of in every way. They will tell you that they protect kids when kids are exploited in every way. They tell you they protect old people as they essentially want to eradicate them one way or the other. We're going to do minimum wage. We need a livable wage. You just cut the livelihood of old people in half. Most of the fixed income people in the world are old people. Oh, well, yeah, you got to break a few eggs. They don't care. They don't care about old people. They don't care about children. They care about nothing. So working, he sees how much money you can make by doing this. I don't know how many whistleblower cases there are, but I bet you there are dozens, if not hundreds. And he was going to charge this Silicon Valley tech company $310,000 to get to the booty, to get to the data, to get to the file. So for the sake of discussion, let's say there were 10 of them. And let's say that at those 10 companies, he charged them all $300,000. So he makes a cool $1.3 million. Then what he does is he says, you guys have to retain us for $500,000 a year, as your attorney. So, if there's 10 companies, he's got $5 million of retainer. He's instant partnership material. He's pocketed away $1.5 million on his own. He's got another $5 million going to his firm, and they look at him as like, this dude can walk on water. He's amazing. But what if it was double that? What if it was 20 of them? What if it was 50? Who's getting screwed? Who's protected at this point, huh? Yeah. Not you, not the American citizen. It's going to defend the very people who are taking advantage of folks. Silicon Valley tech company. Not surprisingly, folks, the legacy Obama Justice Department had no idea how Wortkin got access to complaints for cases that he wasn't assigned. Now, given all we've learned about the flimsy nature of things at the Justice Department, are you surprised? I'm not surprised at all. Wortkin's pleaded guilty. Charges of obstructing justice. He was transporting stolen property. That was part of his plea agreement. He then planned, he says, I'm going to work with the Justice Department supervisors and explain to them how he was able to get away with these sealed documents. And if he does that and he's upfront and honest, I don't know. Hopefully we can start plugging some leaks. Hopefully we understand how this occurred, and we can prevent it from ever occurring again. Because if the Justice Department and the FBI need to do anything, I would say to you, they need to let the American people know that they're serious about protecting our rights. Easy way to build a career. That's what he's looking for. He's willing to sell out the American people in order to selfishly hit his... It isn't good enough the guy's got a degree from Georgetown. He's worked in the Justice Department. It's not good enough that he can just go into a new job, a new firm, and make a good name for himself. No, you know what he has to do? He's got to cheat at it. And you better know there were people who looked the other way when he took those files. I don't know what he was going to do. I don't know how it all works out, because I don't look to do stupid stuff like that. But you can bet this, America, this is the way of the left. And you better know this, there exists more Wortkins within the Obama administration. These scandalous bureaucrats look for the easy way out, and they will sacrifice you at the altar to do it. Know this.
Kevin Jackson on the Black Sphere Radio Network.
Do you owe back taxes to the IRS or state? The secret to avoiding the IRS nightmare is to seek professional representation. My friends at Security Tax Associates provide the most cost-effective and ethical representation in the industry while helping to avoid seizures, levies, and wage garnishments. Security Tax Associates is here to ensure that the appropriate steps are taken to permanently eliminate any possibility of future tax burdens once and for all. For a free, no-obligation consultation, contact Security Tax Associates, 844-779-4177. That's 844-779-4177. 844-779-4177. Or visit them at securitytaxassociates.com.
Putting an end to identity politics. This is the Kevin Jackson Radio Show.
Oh, Nelly. My goodness, better than Reagan. Talked about it earlier. I alluded to it, and I told you this. I said, look, for me to have to admit that somebody has done better than Reagan is a very difficult thing to do. I'm not one of these guys who's all, just philosophically put onto some ideology or whatever. I'm a free thinker, and I enjoy being a free thinker. And the reason why I'm happy about that is because it allows me to be objective. I don't have to look for the angle that supports my position or anything. I'm looking for righteousness, and it isn't that it is in my favor. And that's what I love about us. So here's a deal where I'm thinking, man, Ronald Reagan, he's in the past. But I talk about him often. He's the reason why I'm a conservative, not because he made me one, but when I witnessed what he was, I went, I'm that. That's what they got. And I'm looking at Donald Trump and going, wow, this is even better. Nobody even thought that besting Reagan was possible, but it has happened, folks. This news may send people like Bill Kristol into therapy. But the Heritage Foundation rates President Trump's first year better than Ronald Reagan's. The Trump administration, they write, has pursued policies that have hewed remarkably close to the recommendations of a leading conservative think tank, the Heritage Foundation, which found in a new review that nearly 2/3 of its ideas have been carried out or embraced by the White House over the past year. Not one to dwell on the details of governing, President Trump has shown a considerable degree of deference to groups within the conservative movement like Heritage, leading to a rightward shift in social, environmental, immigration, and foreign policy. The results, Heritage found in its review, exceeded even the first year of Ronald Reagan's presidency, whose tenure has long been considered the conservative gold standard. We have a new standard. Unbelievable. Recall when Trump announced his run for the office, the media went into a frenzy. They started poking fun of what they thought would be a President Trump presidency. Anti-Trump so-called conservatives desperately tried to discredit Trump's ability to uphold conservative values. I know this because I was in the midst of it. My own brother said to me, Kev, I just can't do it. He says he's not a godly man, this, that, and the other. But it was not 2 months after Donald Trump was in office, my brother said to me, I was wrong. I have another mentor, gentleman that ran the Western Conservative Summit for many years. And he sent me an email saying, and he had written a piece, and he sent me the piece, and it was, look, I was completely wrong. I am now on the Trump bandwagon. How many people? He's not presidential enough. He's not this. He's not that. The biggest complaint I heard was, and I laughed about it too, because I said Trump's not a real Christian per se. If you don't know Second Corinthians, he's 2 Corinthians 2. I'll never forget that he did at Liberty University or wherever. I think it was Liberty. But what he said, and I remember thinking, Donald, don't try to quote scripture, man. Just be who you are. He's always accepting of prayer. Pastors praying for him. But you know what got people? His realness. The genuine nature of what he wants to achieve in this country. That's what did it. And then he started doing things. He did exactly what he said he was going to do. And I recall some leftists saying Donald Trump may very well be hated for actually living up to his campaign promises. But he wasn't talking about leftists. They didn't like his campaign promises. He was talking about people on the right, the anti-Trump, the never Trump movement, the guys like Bill Kristol and Stephen Hayes and others. Plotting against this man. I watched them in Cleveland plotting against Donald Trump. It was ridiculous to see. Like I said to everybody, whoever was going to win the nomination needed to get our full support. Am I so happy right now that it wasn't any of the people that I thought should have potentially be put in front of Donald Trump? Imagine a Ben Carson. He wouldn't be president. Imagine a Ted Cruz. As strong as Cruz is and as smart as he is, he wouldn't be president. Rand Paul, name me one of those people that would be president today. And if they were, would we be saying this about them? Or would we be watching them sell out the special interests and capitulate to the deep state, have no ability to influence any of this stuff? Bill Kristol told CNN back at the time, I just don't think Trump has the character to be president of the United States. It's beyond any particular issue I disagree with him on or who he picks as VP of something. And he says he was looking for an independent candidate like Sass. There are many more who said Trump would be a disgrace to the conservative movement and how they would never support him as president of the United States. And yeah, maybe it was a bumpy ride from the start. Because he certainly didn't get any favors. Was the media helping him? Was the Republican establishment helping him? No. But you know what he did? He persevered. He says, I don't care what you think. I will still continue to tweet. I confounded you when I won. That was enough. That should have told you everything you needed to know, given the level of corruption that exists in the deep state, that I was able to win. He stayed the course. He didn't get influenced. Oh, he's very temperamental. We can get to him. He'll look at the polls and everything, and we'll tell him you're only 38% approval, or this idea of yours is lame brain and nobody cares and whatever. And you know what Trump did? I don't care what you think. I'm going to push on my own direction. He went to work. Contrast that to America's former incompetent in chief, Barack Obama, who propped up the economy built on swizzle sticks, literally printing money. Year one economy lost almost 5 million jobs. He didn't have any unemployment decrease like Trump did. He buoyed the Oval Office chair. He didn't man it. And the average duration of unemployment during the time that Obama was president in the first year rose from 19.8 weeks to 32.8 weeks. It almost doubled. For those of you who want to ignore Barack Obama's first year, look at his last year. In his last year, he lost 17,000 manufacturing jobs. And add to the stellar list of his accomplishments, more people on food stamps in the history of this country, more people out of the labor force in history, more living in poverty, $10 trillion of debt later, and you had Obama's feeble economy. He could have given every poor person in America $100,000 a year and we wouldn't have even missed it. Now, enter year one of the man who wrote The Art of the Deal, the man who saved Carrier on a dare after Obama and others said it couldn't be done. Then Obama said, manufacturing, it's gone from America. This is the new normal. But somehow we keep growing manufacturing in America with Donald Trump bringing 171,000 manufacturing jobs back. That's not even a complete number because it's more since then. After the feckless Wonder Boy lost 17,000 the year before. Dozens of companies returning to America all credit the reduction of taxes from 35% to 21%, the Trump tax plan, as the main reason. And Democrats, they're calling $1,000 to $3,000 bonuses that are given out to the individuals by corporations, not by the government. This isn't some government rebate, some welfare plan. This is corporations saying, you know what? You've been wanting to participate in the profits. We're finally seeing the light at the end of the tunnel. Here you go. And the Democrats call it crumbs rather. Well, the people receiving them don't feel like they're getting crumbs. And there's hardly anybody that's going to argue that that money that they got back did not come back from Donald Trump. And hold on one second, everybody. April 15th, they're going to get even more. The result of year one Donald Trump, today there are more Americans at work than in any time in history. Moreover, America has experienced the fastest economic recovery since the Great Depression. No need to put a spin on it. Is it a recovery? Isn't it a recovery? Oh, well, you have to remember where we were and all these other things. Donald Trump successfully put in place Neil Gorsuch, but what else did he do? 90 executive actions, most of them undoing Obama's executive orders, dismantling climate change initiatives, enforcing regulatory reform, protecting law enforcement, mandating for every legislation they got to eliminate 2, going after ISIS, rebuilding the military, building a border wall, cutting funding for sanctuary cities, approving Keystone and Dakota pipelines, reducing regulations on manufacturers, placing a hiring freeze on federal employees, and exiting the U.S. from the Trans-Pacific Trade Partnership. Those are just the beginnings. It's clear this guy is a conservative. He ran on what he said he was going to do, what he promised, and he's delivering to the American people. And the Heritage Foundation gets it. He's done more than any other president in that regard. He's the first president to recognize life and go to the March for Life rally. The first one. First sitting president to address the annual March for Life in Washington, D.C. Tens of thousands of marchers. The left underestimate this man to their detriment.
He won't stop until he's the top-rated radio talk show host in America.
What kind of weird competitive freak are you?
This is the Kevin Jackson Radio Show.